Yeah, Revan. So how does a company decides to go from uh, private to IPO? Any suggestions on that? Like how do they decide to move from there?
Generally it's very subjective, to be honest. Like if the company feels that they can't generally raise from private, like most of the companies wouldn't want to go to public, for the reason being because they have to show a lot of their profit and loss statement to the public, right? And that affects the statement towards company. But generally what happens, like people want to raise money, and if the brand is known or they feel that the people have a trust in the company, they will try to IPO it and share some of the company's like shareholding to the market, give it to the market. Like suppose they want to divest 5% to the market, they will list it out and the people can buy it out there. But the decision is very subjective, to be honest, on only when they want to raise money for certain actions. Like Oyo is now raising money to pay off the debts they have taken. They have taken almost $500 million in debts, financing, like within a last year. They want to pay it off because they are at a loss. So they are trying to raise money from the public market to pay those off, right? And the public generally invest in terms of thinking long term, right? Like Oyo is a known brand, so they might invest in just thinking from that they might make money in the future. But the point is, like Oyo is right now in a very loss. It's a loss making company. Even Zomato is a loss making company. But the point is, Zomato has a positive sentiment among the people because you're daily using it. So a lot of people invested in terms of like just because of their sentiment, right? And they feel like since we are using Zomato daily, they might somehow work out and give some kind of dividends in the future. But the point is, like, you want to make money out of the IPO in terms of like investing some for the shares and then selling it again in the future. So if you believe that this particular company share will rise in like 1 or 2 years and you might make money out of it, so you can do that, right? But IPO, like one of my previous companies also trying to do IPO right now, like one of the first company I joined. The reason just being like it's not a very known company, to be honest, but the reason they are making money and they feel the market has a very positive sentiment. They are investing money a lot into the shares and stocks, and a lot of Indians have come into terms of stocks trading. So based on that sentiment only, they are trying to raise money from the market directly instead of raising money from the public, from private, because private institution have a lot of due diligence also, and they might not invest for certain reasons.
One more reason is like, see, before going public, they have these private investments, right? Like, I'm investing privately in that company. Let us say, oh, I need liquidity, so like maybe I will convince all others to go public because that will bring liquidity. And like
Yeah,
now, yeah,
so the
go,
reasons can be different, right? Like
yeah,
as Mananjan is mentioning in terms of like us, paying off the earlier investor. Like earlier investor would be paid off in terms of when they raise money from the public, or they might have debts in their profit and loss book, and they want to cover that debt using the public money, or they might have the growth plan. Like Zomato's main plan was to raise money to funnel their growth, right? Fuel their growth. So that is one of the reasons they can raise money. So they have to specify like what is the purpose they're raising the money. It's still it's very subjective. Like if people don't trust you, they might not invest in you.
like it's a business decision they need to take based on like all the factors and like including all the stakeholders, relevant stakeholders. So this is not something that is like you can
Could
automate.
you please explain how Zomato is loss making?
Yeah, I saw your question. See, how do you think Zomato makes money? Where can you think of it?
Mediated between the customer and the seller?
Yeah, so they mainly charge not from customers, they mainly charge from restaurants, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So we pay for the food, but the major portion of that is the revenue which Zomato is getting is generally from the directly taken from the restaurants. So suppose if restaurant is selling for 200 rupees food product, they generally take 20% to 30% out of that. So they would charge say amount 60 rupees or something like that, right? That is what Zomato is earning from that. But they also have to pay these drivers, right, who are giving you uh, the food. They are delivering the food to you. They also have to pay to them, and they pay around 45 rupees per delivery, and there is a lot of incentives going to that. But think of it, Zomato also has a team, right? They are doing a lot of marketings, so the money is also going into marketing. You can see a lot of YouTube ads daily, right? Some small snippets of YouTube ads
So
coming.
how the company was working on a loss model?
So the company has raised a lot of money from private institutions like I don't remember the investor, but Sequoia or SoftBank. They have invested hundreds and millions of dollars into the company. So that is what is funneling the growth till now. If they didn't have that money coming from the investors, like these private investors, they wouldn't have been able to survive till now because they wouldn't have been able to do a lot of marketings. These all require money. Like they also have a team of like thousands of people, right? Their
And
salary is also a major part of it.
why did they invest in the Zomato, knowing that?
Because these
See, let me tell
investors,
you one thing. Let me tell you one thing.
one second, Manoj, please,
These,
one second.
just 1 minute. See, these new startups, specifically consumer-facing startups, they are not concerned about loss at all. Their primary goal is to tap the market. Later, like they can make up the loss. That is what Swiggy did. That is what Zomato is doing. That is what Amazon is still doing. Right? Their primary focus is like they even everyone believes that Zomato will be a profit-making organization. That is why people are investing still. They know that it is so far in loss by giving discounts and all, but still people are investing because they see the future. That currently they are tapping the market. Once they will tap the market, there is a huge potential.
So think from this perspective that it's a bet for the investors, right? They're betting on the future. Like what is the future is going to look like for Zomato, and they believe that only one of the two major people or company will capture that food business in India. Like right now, there are two only leaders, right? Swiggy and Zomato. So they believe in the future of India. Like right now, it's only in the cities, right? But think of that, like they can go into a lot of smaller cities also. That they can grow that into the market, and they can also like groceries is one of the items Swiggy is making popular, right? So they believe in the growth of company. That is the reason they are investing. They think like not in terms of like 1 or 2 years they would give the profit back to the company, to the investors, but they're thinking in terms of 10 years or 20 years. And there are only a couple of ways generally these investors makes money. So suppose Zomato got to IPO, right? The moment they get to IPO, the public are investing into the company now. You are buying shares. The way you are buying shares, you're putting money into the company, right? And these are ways some of the ways like earlier investors makes money out of it. Like they would directly sell out their shares to the public, right? And suppose they invested like 100 million right now, with a cost of shares like $1 per share or $10, $100 per share, but the public is investing back and buying the shares at the price of like $145. So that $45 is the earning amount they are making. So that is a bet they did a lot of 10 years back into Zomato, that Zomato might go into IPO because they would become such big company, or like they become such big that they would be earning a lot of profit and giving back to the company, to the investors. So this is a bet company make, and nothing from investors point of view, right? Investor wouldn't making a single bet in their lifetime, right? They might be betting on Zomato, but they also might be betting in 10 other companies, and not every other companies give like money back to the investors. Like some out of the 10 companies, 8 companies might fail, right? Only the 2 companies might grow into such big like a Zomato and give returns to companies, to investors. So the point is like they're betting on this, like the returns which they would get from these 2 companies would be much bigger than the amount they have invested in 10 companies. And this is the real truth, like, and that is generally happens. Like some of the companies they would invest $1 million, but at the end of like 10 years or something, they would have made like almost $1 billion, which also happened in the case of Alibaba. Like Alibaba did an IPO in US, and that was worth of $264 billion IPO. A lot of people or a lot of investors invested earlier, like almost $10 million or something like that. They made billions of dollars back from that IPO. So it's a bet, to be honest. Like if someone invests in OneLearn.io, if I go and start trying to raise fund, people would invest in me and Arunesh that will try to make this company much more bigger, and they would get some like return from us into the future, like maybe not now but in 10 years down the line, because they believe in the product, they believe in the team, and they believe in what we are doing, and they believe that India is such big because we are targeting India right now, and this product which we are building, it might capture a lot of Indians and it might bring in a lot of revenues in the future. And but right now I can't promise that from the day one, right? I have to still spend a lot of money in terms of marketing, in terms of, say, suppose conducting these sessions also, I have to do a lot of marketing in terms of that, right? So I need to spend a lot of money initially to grow the company. That initial company is what I go, the initial amount for money that I request to these investors to give me, because that will be helping in boosting the company, right? And in the future, I became such big, I can, there is a possibility that I can, one become such big that I can start giving returns. Okay.
But even before the IPO, we used to come across such news that Dipinder Goyal's net worth is XYZ. So
Yes,
how that is possible? Because
I'll
in
tell you.
this
I'll tell you.
matters,
I'll tell you.
See, I will tell you
See,
one thing.
one
Just go
second,
ahead.
Manoranjan. 1 second.
Okay.
uh, See, what happens generally is like when you own a company, right, like OneLearn.io, and I say I'll currently say that my my share in the company is 50%, and Arunesh, my partner, his share is 50% of the company, and I will announce to in the market that I believe the company is worth 1,000 rupees, right? It is my belief. I'll say that the company is worth is 1,000 rupees. Then what would be my value? My value would be 500 rupees because I own 50% of the share, right? And
correct,
Arunesh owns the 50% of the share. But the value which I said 1,000 rupees is kind of hypothetical, right? I decided the value right now. Okay? Now tomorrow, Bhavya, you want to invest in my company. Okay? You believe that the company is worth 10,000 rupees. Why? Because now I have few customers in OneLearn.io and I am making some amount of money. But still that 10,000 is kind of a belief, right? You're believing that this company should be worth this much because they have the potential to grow in making 10,000 easily. So you decided that okay, I want to value this company OneLearn.io at say 10,000 rupees. No, you also want you see you invest some money into me, right? So you also want some equity from the company. Now say OneLearn.io, I initially have 50% and Runesh has 50% and you has 0% because you didn't invest it, but you brought some money back and you invested 10% into the company. Now my share is say 45% and Runesh's share is 45%, but your share is 10%. So now, and since we decided, we all three agreed कि हम लोग अब value रखेंगे 10,000 rupees of the company, then you get 10% of that share. Like तुम्हारा value हो जाएगा 1,000 rupees, मेरा value हो जाएगा 45% of 10,000, that is 4,500. और Runesh का value भी हो जाएगा 4,500. So I'll be told कि मेरा net worth है 4,500 based on the company's valuation. So someone in Zomato case also decided कि इतना money हम put कर रहे हैं hundreds and millions of dollars. I decided the company's valuation is $1 billion. Now उसका जो ओनर है क्या बोलते हैं दीपेंद्र गोयल ही ओज लाइक 10% ऑफ द कंपनी तो हम लोग उसको बोलेंगे 100 इफ द वैल्यूएशन वाज $1 billion आई वुड से कि उसका वैल्यू उसका नेट वर्थ होगा कितना $100 million बिकॉज ही हैड 10% ऑफ द कंपनी विच उसके पास वो कैश नहीं रखा हुआ है you're getting the point. He doesn't have $100 million in cash. We are saying his value is $100 million because why? Because he owns 10% of the asset, which was Zomato, which we valued, which we investors decided, and the banking company decided कि उसका value हम लोग $1 billion रखेंगे. Now suppose आगे फ्यूचर में कोई रीजन से उस $1 billion का वैल्यू क्रैश कर गया, मे बी स्टॉक मार्केट क्रैश कर गया और मे बी वो उतना अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहा, तो जो नेक्स्ट राउंड ऑफ इन्वेस्टर्स में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे बोलेंगे अब इसका वैल्यू $1 billion नहीं $500 million है. तो अब तो दीपेंद्र गोयल 10% उसको ऑन करता था तो सीधे $100 billion से उसका नेटवर्थ चला गया $50 million. Right? Because I am valuing the asset. Like Zomato is one of the asset. I am valuing it as $500 million. I decrease the valuation from $1 billion to $500 million. तो उसी तरह से उसको नेटवर्थ चला गया नीचे.
Also, one more point. Uh, See, these organizations, like they focus on first of all like the growth, and although they are making loss, but if you check at their revenues, that is growing drastically, and that is all that they need right now. For example, like Amazon, right? The only profiting entity of that is AWS. Rest of the thing are still in loss. So what they do is like what it is not like they are not making profit at all. Like that guy was like the richest person, right? Jeff Bezos. But whatever they are getting the amount, they are investing again to expand the market, and that is what that matters. So although still on paper you will see that okay, so it is making loss, but everyone is seeing that okay, so that company is growing, and in future uh, it will be a stable company because currently it is trying to tap the market, and that is what that matters. For example, like let us say I'm earning like 1 lakh in a year, right? And I have decided that okay, so my expenses are like 40,000. Now 60,000 I have, right? Now I think that in 5 years I can increase that to maybe some bigger amount. So I've invested that somewhere. So in my balance sheet that will show it as like I don't have anything because everything is in market, right? But the point is like still I will people will be knowing that I am in loss, but still it is getting invested in expanding something or something like that, and that will be giving me profit later. So that is what the picture is.
but Bhavya, just you understood like why Dipinder Goyal's valuation is newspaper में उतना valuation क्यों बोला जाता है? You got that part, right?
I need to
Yeah,
ask one more question. In the
yeah,
previous
yeah, please.
example only, um, so we were having 10,000 as the total capital, and 4,500 was of Dipinder Goyal's, right?
Yeah, 4,500 since
Now,
he owns 45%.
yeah. Now, is it really decided what part should go in the operations and what part should go in the
It's not
uh,
pre-decided, to be honest. It's a projection. Like suppose I'm planning because I'm raising funds, right? I have to tell the company investor which I'm raising funds like what I will be using that amount for. So suppose for one learn.if my raising amount like say 1 CR or something 10 CR, I would have to tell the like investors like I plan to invest like out of 10 CR I plan to invest 5 CR in marketing and almost 2 CR in hiring new people and almost 2 CR in launching new products. So these might be a little projection I'm giving to the company which I'm raising money from. But this need not be
my
exact. Yeah, yeah, Bhavya.
the question I'm trying to ask is how CEO is earning mainly?
So see,
Is he
CEO
keeping some part of the investment?
salary. No, no, he takes a salary. He owns a company. He owns a part of company. So I own a part of OneLearn.io. I'll take some salary out of it. जो भी revenues आ रहा है generate कर रहा है जैसे employees का salary होता है उसी तरह founders का भी CEO का भी salary होता है, right? But they can also
Okay.
keep percentage of the company क्योंकि मेरा bigger अभी क्या है I'm betting on कि I own this percent of the company. So कि बाकी time में हम जब उसको बाद में जब IPO हुआ if I sell the company to someone bigger companies comes and buys out to me. So जो भी वो फिर उसका पे करेगा उस कंपनी के लिए क्योंकि I own that 45%, I will take that 45% because someone else is buying it, right? और कभी कभी ऐसा भी होता है the CEOs also earns by doing a secondary sale of this the shares. Say suppose 45% I'm owning and then investor decides to invest some certain amount. I'll say कि तुम 95% जो तुम इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो वो कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करो 5% तो जो तुम करो वो मेरा कुछ शेयर्स बाय कर लो because I want to liquidate a bit of my shares in terms of earning money. So that is also possible कि सीईओ कह सकता है कि तुम जो इन्वेस्टेड मेरी कंपनी में कर रहे हो उसका तुम 90% जाओ कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट होगा लेकिन आई वांट टू आल्सो सेल अ बिट ऑफ शेयर्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ मनी. तो वो इन्वेस्टर डिसाइड करता है क्योंकि इन्वेस्टर आल्सो थिंक्स फ्रॉम दैट पर्सपेक्टिव राइट कि सीईओ को थोड़ा फाइनेंशियल पैसा होना चाहिए क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं हो कि वो एकदम कम पैसे में काम कर रहा है या फिर काफी स्ट्रेस में काम कर रहा है कि वो परफॉर्म नहीं कर पाए, right? They also want to keep the CEO happy and little financially stable.
Yes, exactly.
So that is the reason these CEOs also do a secondary sale also कि कुछ percentage वो अपने investors को pay कर देता है या buy sell कर देता है. But the मेरा जो कोई भी company found करता है जैसे मैं if I'm starting this company OneLearn.io, my main objective is कि I want to grow as big as possible and I want to keep a bigger chunk of it. मान लो जैसे 40% 30% आफ्टर आई ग्रो इनटू अ $1 billion कंपनी सो दैट विल लीड टू मी कि मेरा एक अच्छा वैल्यूएशन बन जाएगा. अब मुझे पैसा इसलिए रेज करना पड़ रहा है बिकॉज आई वांट टू फ्यूल द ग्रोथ ऑफ द कंपनी, राइट? आई वांट टू टेक मोर मनी इनिशियली एंड ट्राई टू डू अ लॉट ऑफ मार्केटिंग बिकॉज दैट इज हाउ पीपल विल नो अबाउट मी, राइट? अगर मैं कुछ पैसा नहीं लेता हूँ या फिर आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू डू इट ऑन माई ओन तो आई विल ग्रो. इट्स नॉट दैट आई विल नॉट ग्रो बट आई विल ग्रो मच स्लोअर पेस. तो ये हमको फास्ट स्टार्टअप्स क्या करते हैं, स्टार्टअप्स इज ऑल अबाउट ग्रोथ, राइट? दे वांट टू ग्रो एज मच फास्टर एज पॉसिबल. So these company takes money and fuel their marketing budgets. The ads चलाओ, ये चलाओ, make sure more people come into my product and use it. ठीक है?
Yeah, okay.
You got your answer?
Yeah.
So means we can have multiple sessions on like this कि startup कैसे work करता है, startup में क्या क्या culture होता है in terms of क्या products generally they work out, and there are different domains also. So in terms of our course also what we do in OneLearn, we try to learn some of the markets like जैसे e-commerce में I gave a session on e-commerce which was in terms of how data science are used in e-commerce. How because see the whole purpose of data science is probably helping the company to make money, right? At the end that is the problem of a business problem we are trying to solve. वो पैसा हम लोग कैसे बनाने में हेल्प करते हैं फ्रॉम डेटा साइड लाइक इन ई कॉमर्स में जैसे पर्सनलाइजेशन हो गया, सर्च रिलेवेंस हो गया, इवन फ्रॉम डिजिटल मार्केटिंग किस तरह से एड हम लोग कैंपेन को ऑप्टिमाइज करते हैं. दीज आर ऑल पार्ट ऑफ डेटा साइंस ऑल्सो. Not only data science, but there are also different business functions also plays a role. But a lot of answer to these questions comes from data. कि क्या होना चाहिए, क्या नहीं होना चाहिए, who's going to answer that? It's not on just on intuition, right? You need to believe on the what is the data saying. So ये जो company अब grow कर रही है, right? Like Flipkart is growing, Amazon is growing. They are betting a lot of amount of money on the data set, right? कि जो data हम लोग collect कर पा रहे हैं user से, like right now Bhavya is browsing Amazon and she is searching for these products. So I know you, Amazon knows you now, right? कि तुम्हारा ये interest है, ये नहीं interest है. जो अब तुम्हारे इंटरेस्ट के प्रोडक्ट्स जितना वो दिखाएगा उतना ज्यादा तुम्हारे चांसेस हो जाता है तुम उसको क्लिक करके बाई करोगे, राइट? सो दैट इज हाउ दे मेक मनी फ्रॉम यू. इफ अगर वो तुमको एड्स दिखा रहा है टोटली इरेलीवेंट थिंग्स को तुमको ऐड अगर दिखा रहा है तो तुम वो चीज नहीं बाय करोगे. यू आर वेस्टिंग मनी, यू आर वेस्टिंग टाइम ऑन अमेजन, राइट? यू आर जस्ट गोइंग दैट बट यू आर नॉट सीइंग एनी रिलेवेंट प्रोडक्ट्स. सो डेटा साइंस का यहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा रोल है कि दे वांट टू शो द प्रोडक्ट्स व्हिच आर वेरी रिलेवेंट टू योर हिस्ट्री एंड योर प्रोफाइल so that you click on it and buy it. That is what the pushes of this all e-commerce companies are. जो तुमको आज भी इंस्टाग्राम में एड्स दिखते हैं वो काफी तुम्हारे प्रोफाइल के रिलेवेंट होते हैं. इफ यू आर इनटू अ लॉट ऑफ ब्यूटी प्रोडक्ट्स, अ लॉट ऑफ स्पोर्ट्स प्रोडक्ट, वो तुम्हारे फिर उसके रिलेवेंट तुमको एड्स दिखाते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि देयर आर हाईली लाइकली चांसेस दैट यू आर गोइंग टू क्लिक ऑन इट एंड देन देयर इज अ हाईली लाइकली चांस दैट यू विल बाय इट if it's of your interest. And this all comes from data, right? That someone at the back is sitting, or a data scientist is sitting, or a data analyst is sitting and doing this analysis and trying to show you the relevant ads. That is what their job is at the end. Build something which people's user experience काफी personalized हो. And जितना personalized होगा उतना ज़्यादा conversion हो सकता है in terms of money. Because at the end everything is about making money, right? तभी company पैसा कमाएगा. Right, Bhavya? And yeah, Pawan, to answer your question, yes, a lot of investors invest like bet on the future market. जैसे we are also like one learn is also betting कि future किस तरह का होगा, upskilling कैसे होगा, क्या बोलते हैं, how will people make money, job guarantee किस तरह से काम करेगा. We are also betting on the future, right? Like that is the reason we are also saying कि without charging much, we are almost making it free for people to learn and then earn money, like by getting a job. So we are also betting on that future, right? Like that is how the alternate school system will evolve, alternate learning system will evolve, like be more result oriented rather than just certification or rather than just getting a degree. Because at the end, everybody wants some output of the learning process, right? It's not about just consuming videos and videos and videos. You want some output out of it. And so it's a bet on future. Every company who starts, they are betting on the future. Every investor who puts money into the company, they're betting on the future. Got it? Any other questions from anyone?